From retirement to receipts, Laila Ali has a lot to say. Is Claressa listening? Let's talk about it. They 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 talk about it. Welcome back to She Could Talk the Podcast. I'm your host, Gangali. Hey. And that's Gangalee on all streaming platforms if you want to check out my music. Look for the glasses, look for the locks. You tell me if I can rap, okay? Okay. But over here on YouTube, on She Could Talk the Podcast, this is where I react to everything. I react to news, sports, crimes, musicians, politicians, YouTubers, TikTokers. If they're talking about it, we are talking about it, okay? Okay. Now, on this episode, I am on the sports side of my house. Okay, guys, I'm back. You know. Boxing, if you don't know, I will reiterate it. Boxing is one of my favorite sports. I love boxing. And in the last couple of months, you know, when things have my spidey senses tingling, guys, I tell you, I have some good radar. I don't know, at the start of this year, I tell you, I'm going to go back a bit. I've been doing my podcast for a couple of years. But at the start of this year, so it's going to be a year. We're coming up on a year as far as the format that I've been doing now. You know, reacting to different topics, etc. So at the top of the year, Joey Badass. Shout out to Joey Badass because he's the one that inspired me to, like, you know what, get on camera because he dropped that joint. The ruler's back. I rock with it. And I was like, you know what, I want to react to this. And that kind of got me on the path where I'm on now. But everyone that I would say that has come across my radar, has my spidey senses tingling, I could say to some degree, I have been correct. Or, you know, my spidey senses has not failed me yet. I'll just say that. And in the vein of that, in the continuation of that, I will say, you know, I have talked about Claressa Shields. I've highlighted her boxing match where she boxed. I can't even think of the boxer right now, but go back into my videos a couple of months back. I reacted, you know, did a reaction to her one of her recent matches, and one of my opinions was, you know, I wish we could see her fighting someone, you know, younger. It's like she tends to fight people more like exiting boxing versus coming into boxing, but that's another story. I digress, right? Then I reacted to her and Remy Ma and Papoose and the very publicly played love triangle that she's like inserted herself in the middle of this divorcing couple, but they're still technically married. I don't even think their divorce is final as of yet. Okay, but she has went, you know, publicly around and has, you know, professed her love for him. And a lot of people was like, you know, he needs to have a good woman like Claressa, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, I'm all for romance and I'm all for love. And I understand sometimes you just never know, right? I've seen a meme. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I've seen a meme. It was something of a viral story about a girl who came from Ethiopia, married a guy in like Chicago. They had a kid. And then after she got here, she realized that, you know, she was going to have to work a regular job. She said, nah, I'm moving on. And she found her a millionaire in Vegas and moved out to Vegas. And she's a completely different, the glow up is real. The glow up was real, right? So they said, don't let your husband stop you from finding your soulmate, right? So I get it, right? That can be applied, I guess, to Papoose and Remy and Claressa. Don't let her husband stop you from finding your soulmate, I guess, right? Jokes, just jokes. But I reacted to that. I reacted to Papooses kind of public, you know, display of emotions behind, you know, Remy Ma and their divorce situation, right? And we seen Claressa go in interviews talking about it. And I said, hey, maybe you should get like a publicist or an advisor, you know, someone in the camp to kind of rein in, you know, kind of what you say and kind of like vet the questions that would be asked during an interview to kind of like have it focus on you and your boxing versus other things. You guys, do y'all remember when I said that? I said that a couple of months ago. Just watching, just observing, because I love boxing. I think Claressa's a dope boxer, and I think that she is making, you know, waves in 2025 in the boxing field, you know. But is it the boxing that's making waves or is it everything else? And with that being said, we're going to enter Layla Ali, right? You should all know who Layla Ali is. This beautiful woman on my screen right here, Muhammad Ali's daughter, also a boxing legend herself, right? Now, she's in my generation, right? So I remember, her fighting the farmer's daughter, her, coming up in the, in the boxing world. And I was like, where did she come from? I didn't even know Muhammad Ali had a daughter that boxed back in those days. You know what I'm saying? But I was in it. I was there for it because she was no joke. She fought when she was in her prime, like in a weird way, I would say she had like a chip on her shoulder. Like she was knocking them women out in the ring. And I was like, oh, it's because, she's Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali, so she has to kind of live up to her dad's name. So she's gonna knock you out. Okay. Okay. But good fighter. Salute to Layla Ali. Beautiful woman. Cook, family, wife, mother. It's just a lot. She's, spokeswoman, talk show host. She is multi-talented, has a plethora of skill sets. You know what I'm saying? And I love to see it. I thought it was a recent thing where Claressa was saying how she wanted to fight Layla. And I said, why, once again, are we continuing trying to? It's kind of like it's giving me like the John, God, I can't even think of the dude's name. The dude that fought Mike Tyson. Oh my God. Jake Paul. It's giving me the Jake Paul effect, right? Where it's like, you want to fight. You're coming off like you're a good fighter. You train. All that stuff looks good. Your highlight reel looks great. But then you're fighting Mike Tyson, retired, old. You know what I'm saying? You're not fighting prime Mike Tyson. The name will ring out, but is it really truly a Mike Tyson fight, right? So I kind of was getting those vibes from Claressa with her last couple of fights. It's like all the women that you're fighting look like they're going to be retiring soon, or they were about to retire, and then they said, let me grab this paycheck before I leave. You know what I'm saying? Like those are what her opponent's been looking like to me. But she's been harping on Layla Ali. And I was like, why you keep on trying to get people to come out of retirement or near in retirement? Why don't you try to fight some of the young people to let them know, hey, I am the best. You know what I'm saying? Like I am the champ, right? But that was my opinion. So go back and check. I got my own receipts because I've been following this, not this in particular, but just my spidey senses has been tingling about Claressa for a minute, right? But I didn't know the waters ran this deep. So without further ado, what I wanted to do, you probably all seen it already, but I definitely want to give my commentary along the way. Layla Ali, it looks like she just started this YouTube channel immediately just to drop this video or drop these series of videos, because this one's called Part 1, like Let the Record Show, Part 1. Okay? I'm calling it because, how I do. I'm calling this one Layla Ali has CVS receipts. Because you ever been to CVS and you come out the store and you're like, damn, did I buy the entire store? Like, how much things did I buy? You could literally buy 4 items and you're coming out with like a 36-inch receipt. You know what I'm saying? From CVS. Literally what she did with this video. So I may skip through it, skip around, but what I wanted to do was kind of highlight some things and then react to it. And so let's get into it without further ado. This is Layla Ali saying about basically reacting or responding to Claressa wanting to, challenge her to a boxing match, right? And then, but let's get into it. Let's let Layla get into it.
A whole lot of talk about the possibility of me making a comeback to boxing. And people have had a lot to say, but I have not addressed it until now. And I know everyone wants to know the answer to the question, will I be coming back? And I promise you, I'm gonna give you that answer. But first, I have got to address the lies and the fake narrative that's been created years ago. Now, someone's gotten way too comfortable dragging my name and even using my father's name to get attention and clout. Now, in case you haven't heard it, her story is that I didn't support her and I didn't pass the torch because of my jealousy and envy over her accomplishments in boxing. She says that I disrespected her and I started talking about knocking her out simply because I was bitter that she's outdone me. I've seen a lot of the comments. Many of you have good discernment and understand what's really going on here, while others have believed her lies over the years or have formed an opinion without having all the facts. Now, originally, I wasn't even going to give this my time or attention because I really don't engage with people who thrive off of negativity, drama, and buffoonery. But I'm not about to let someone with bad character continue running freely, dragging my name without accountability.
That's not gonna happen.
Come on now, listen. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
no, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
No, that is right.
Come on, Laila can rumble though.
And Wolf would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila oh so pretty ass out.
Okay, strike one. If you go back to my previous video, one of my last videos about Claressa, I said you need to get some type of publicist in play or some type of advisor in play, someone that's going to filter and vet what you're saying and tell you, hey, look, this isn't the road you want to go down, you know, as far as with these interviews, right? Because the thing that and that's the thing, like, we literally can see video footage of Muhammad Ali in his prime talking shit. So videos don't go nowhere, right? It's on tape, even though it's not tape anymore. It's in the net. It's on the net, right? So with that being said, this is October 2025. That's where we're in October 2025. So this is present date. You know, but Laila's going to take you down the rabbit hole, and I'm just here to kind of give you a little bit of ideas. But what I wanted to stop here and say is I didn't like that when she was like, knock Laila oh so pretty out. First of all, look at Wallow's face right there. Let's go back, because this is $1 million worth of game with Wallow and Gilly the Kid, and they're interviewing her, and listen to what she says. Now, you could have said Ann Wolf would have knocked her out. Done. Right? But she said Ann Wolf would have knocked her oh so pretty ass out. That was a little bit of hate.
Freely dragging my name without accountability.
That's not gonna happen.
Come on now, listen. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
no, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
No, that is right.
Come on, Laila can rumble though.
And Wolf would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila oh so pretty ass out.
So this right here,
that right, even the guys had to stop right there. And if you watch Gilly the Kid and Wallow, shout out to Gilly and Wallow, $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, but if you watch them, they're very interactive with their guests, and they don't just sit there and agree. So you saw him like, nah, come on, she be fighting. But when she said knocked oh so pretty ass out, did you see her? Because Wallow, if you watch Wallow's a motivational speaker, he's an inspirational speaker, he's a positive guy, 100%. Right? And he's all about community and bringing the people together. Did you see how he said, I'm gonna bring it back one more time. I'm not staying long because it was 30 minutes and I don't want to encroach on all of her stuff, but there's a couple of things I wanted to highlight. But just one more time.
freely dragging.
And then, you know, Gilly's the first one that was like, nah, come on. But at the end, watch both of their responses after she says, oh so pretty out.
My name without accountability.
That's not gonna happen.
Come on now, listen. Laila Ali is just Muhammad Ali's daughter. And
no, come on, we ain't gonna do that.
No, that is right.
Come on, Laila can rumble though.
Look.
And Wolf would have knocked Laila Ali out. You know, she would have knocked Laila oh so pretty ass out.
So this right here is the consequence. Now, I have been busy working on other projects that required all of my time and focus, which is why I'm just now saying something. But honey, I have made the time to address this. So today, the bad guy ain't getting away.
Okay.
Now let's hit rewind.
Let's
because
hear this.
We really need to see what's happened over the years. What got us here? Now, I'm not about
the
to
rabbit
do the whole
hole.
he say, she say thing. So let me show you some receipts. I first met her in 2012 when she was invited on stage to stand next to me when I gave my father his Liberty Medal. At some point, she reached out, started asking me for advice, wanted to know if she should go to the Olympics the second time or go pro.
Can I tell you?
She would also call me and
Can I tell you? And I'm not being, I don't want to come off mean or petty because I like both of them. And I think especially now if you see, you know, Claressa in her prime right now, the glow up is real. The glow up was definitely real. But if I had to say, if I had to be forced to pick and say, who do you think would be jealous of who? We already know.
let me know when she was fighting. Now, at the time, I was one of the hosts of We Need to Talk, an all-female sports commentary show that still airs on
We could talk. She could talk. Hey!
CBS. I asked the producers if we could do a story on her.
Oh, we need
They
to talk.
agreed.
Oh, they need to
So
talk.
I got on a plane, flew to Colorado, and did a full sit-down interview with her. Now, this is just a shortened version of the 6-minute piece that aired on CBS in 2016. 21-year-old Claressa Shields is as confident as her right hand is powerful. Soon,
So let me just go through it because I was kind of talking over it. But she literally said that she was on a talk show as one of the hosts, and she said, "Hey, I'm a boxer. I want to highlight boxers. There's a girl out of Flint, Michigan. She's up and coming. She did the Olympics, 2-time gold medalist. I think she'll be great to highlight." Fully funded segment of the show. They flew her out to Colorado to her training camp. So they flew Laila Ali out to Claressa Shields' training camp to interview her in the early stages, and she was highlighting her. To me, that's like passing the torch, and to me, that's like recognizing skill set, right? Because if that's like, say, if you're, I'm a rapper, so I could use what I know, what I do. I'm a rapper. If I see someone that's dope and up and coming, that's younger than me, under me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I gotta battle them and make sure. No, I'm like, yo, check out so and so. You know what I'm saying? This joint, you see me. I got receipts my damn self. You can look on this whole channel. If I like it, I will share it. I don't have a problem with showing people love. You know what I'm saying? Because I always believe in giving love, get love. And I get that vibe from Laila. And I know how sometimes because I'm a victim of it too, you can give love to people and then they could feel like they're better than you automatically because you show them a little bit of love, right? And now all of a sudden you're beneath them and they're disrespecting you. You're like, well, I thought we was in this together, or I thought, we're bonding. I didn't know you felt this way. But reality is they felt that way the whole time. So let's continue with her. So this is a segment here where she got the show to go ahead and send her out to Colorado to interview Claressa.
Claressa will be heading to Rio for the Olympics to try and do something that has never been done before. I sat down to talk with her about changing history and being a positive spark for her hometown. You should have heard the story by now. The one about a kid from Flint, Michigan who has gone toe-to-toe with adversity and stands undefeated.
But I'll always go back to Flint and help.
I know that when I was fighting, any of
know
my
their
struggles
water.
that I had to overcome, or anything that I was upset about, whether it be something personal or something going on in the world, I would use that anger, and take it into the ring with me and channel that energy into the ring. Have you ever done that?
I did that a lot. I was going through stuff back at home, but I would have a boxing match, and I would take out everything I was going through on the girl, and that kind of helped me because after I boxed, that was my ultimate high, and I felt like my life was perfect for at least 2 weeks. So
Claressa's father, a former underground fighter, was passionate about...
And can I say, this is the first time I've seen a picture of Claressa Shields' father. I've been following this girl since the documentary, and they was calling her T-Rex. Do you guys remember that when she first came out and it was following her going to the Olympics? And, she was showing her, it was highlighting her home, highlighting her sister, her family. But I don't recall seeing her dad. This is the first time I've seen a picture of her dad. I don't even know, is he still alive? Anyone out there, tell me. You guys let me know. But interestingly enough, Laila Ali got the picture of her and her dad.
About boxing.
he went on to tell me that Muhammad Ali's daughter, Laila, took after him. And he's like, and my dad, he says to this day, Layla's a bad girl. He says all the time. He said, nobody in our family took up boxing. I thought when he told me that, he was telling me to take after him.
Claressa beat the odds to win gold in 2012. When the Olympics start in August, she'll try to be the first American boxer to win back-to-back gold medals. Everybody's going to be fighting you harder. Everybody's going to be trying to elevate their game. They're going to be running hard. They're going to be training hard. They're going to be dreaming about beating you. How are you preparing for that mentally and physically?
Honestly, I've learned how to beat every fighting style. Tall girls, short girls, girls my size. Because I'm like, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty great, I don't know what I would do.
You're supposed to feel that way about yourself.
You
you wouldn't have been able to get to this level if you didn't feel that way about yourself.
Yes.
I don't know about you ladies, but I have absolutely no doubt that Claressa is going to win gold again in the Olympics. Women's boxing wasn't even in the Olympics when I was boxing,
Right.
so I'm like, do it for us, because she's in the weight class I would have been in. So I'm like, go get it, girl, go get it. There's a lot of women who have been training for a long.
Now I'm gonna just say like this: these receipts are receipting. I haven't heard anything negative yet. She hasn't said. I mean, she made it. She went out her way to have her show, her job, fly her to Colorado to basically link up with Claressa to do an exclusive interview to turn around and highlight her. She didn't have to, but she did, and that's what we call women looking out for women. All right.
Time, and nobody knows who they are, so the Olympics just really gives them a platform and something to strive towards. I didn't even fight amateur because I was like, I can't go to the Olympics. Why should I do that? I wanted to be in control of my career, but it's so great to see these young girls coming up. We got 9-year-olds now and 10-year-olds, and they're inspired by people like Claressa. Now, as you can see, I was genuinely rooting for her. I gave her praise. I gave her a spotlight. When she asked for advice, I gave her valuable branding advice and boxing advice so she could have long-term success in and outside of the ring. I told her about the challenges that I faced fighting at 168, where there was limited competition, and I suggested that if she decided to turn pro, she should consider going down in weight somewhere around 148, where she would have more competitive challenges. I told her she should hire a nutritionist.
Sounds like she was giving her the blueprints.
Trim off that excess body fat.
Now, mind you, the fight that I reacted to a couple of months ago, this is her doing the weigh-in at that fight. And I was taken back. Depending on what room you're in, some people would say that, she's too gaudy with her in the ring outfits or her walking in outfits. But I'm like, yo, that's this generation. Like, do you like I have no problem with that. But I was a little like, she didn't look as much as intoned as maybe previous, at this last fight. I was like, dang, maybe leave. And that's when I came to my conclusion after this, that I said, maybe chill with the papoose stuff. Focus on your box, because this was the fight, I want to say like April or May, that she had a fight in July. Or it was like maybe March or April. This was that fight. Then she had a fight in July. So in between that, maybe around June, I said, yo, focus on the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at her hair. And I was like, focus on the fight, get back your head right. And I think she won anyway. Because I don't think the people, like, as far as they'll tell you here, it looks like the boxing arena might be, as far as linking up two good female fighters, is harder than we think. I don't know. You tell me. But it looks like it might be harder than you think, to link up a good match. Right. So maybe she doesn't have to train as hard because the people are not as much of an opponent. I don't know. Right. But I was shocked to see this was her weigh-in. And I was like, wait a minute. She looks like me getting on the scale.
And get into elite next level shape. I pointed her in the right direction, and I had high hopes for her. Whether she decided to turn pro or not, I felt like her future was bright if she played her cards right. But of course, at the time, I was not aware of her divisive, vindictive, and malicious nature. And I know those are strong words, but they actually fit. This girl has created a pattern.
All right, so let's get these receipting. So let's go back.
But of course, at the time, I was not aware of her divisive, vindictive, and malicious nature. And I know those are strong words, but they actually fit. This girl.
All right. So Amanda Serrano is another boxer, I believe. And let me just double check that, because you know me. I like to make sure I'm giving the correct information. So let's see here. Bear with me. You know me, trying to get up here and see what I could find real quick. Where am I at? But I want to say she is a boxer, Amanda Serrano. And I want to say that she was trying to fight her. So, for example, even in the video, go back into my reactions to Claressa a couple of months back, I highlighted a video where a girl came to visit her. She was practicing and, had press out there, and another boxer came to visit her. And it was like so-and-so is over there. And she was like talking to everybody, smiling. And then when she got up to the girl, she just was like, and the girl was like, damn, like, I came to support you. I don't think it was this girl, but I could be wrong. But let me see here. I could be wrong, but let me double check. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not the girl that I'm thinking, but it might be. I think it might be. Yeah, anyway, so as you could probably already read, because I always do that. I pause the stuff in my attempts to read it to you, then I start talking about something else because she could talk, right? But Amanda Serrano, boxer, said, Clarissa, you are one of the best, and I will always admire what you have accomplished. But over the past 3 years, you have constantly made disrespectful comments about my company, my promoter, my accomplishments, and the people I care about, who have changed my life and has made it a point to support women's boxing on the biggest stages possible. It's time to recognize this and move forward on separate paths. I will always be a big fan of you in the ring and your accomplishments. Stay well. Okay, very graceful, very tasteful. Look up Amanda Serrano. She's a featherweight.
Girl has
Yeah,
created a pattern. It's been directed towards
and I've
many
seen her
people.
fight. She throws down. So then this was, if I'm not mistaken, this is Angel Reese, who's a basketball player, WNBA, and that's what I'm saying. Women are making strives and progress in sports that weren't really deemed theirs, like boxing, basketball, right? So I think regardless if you're a boxer or if you're a basketball, we should celebrate each other and we should, celebrate each other and celebrate with each other. And like how Leila Ali said, the divisiveness is crazy and it's uncalled for because strength is in numbers. Trust and believe that. So anyway, so here she goes now, because I guess the BET Awards nominated Angel Reese as well as Clarissa Shields and maybe a couple of other athletes. And as far as for what did they do? They nominated her for, what does it say? I'm trying to see the bottom. Sportswoman of the Year for the BET Awards, right? So they nominated her for Sportswoman of the Year. Instead, what she do? What did she do? She didn't win. Angel Reese won from the WNBA. She said, still, I don't know how I didn't win the Sportswoman of the Year for the BET Awards. But congrats to Angel Reese and all the other nominees. I just thought accolades mattered. Okay. So Layla, who is, that's my generation. We're in the same age group. Looking down is like, damn, I paved the way. I've showed love. What is, it's you, because I'm not seeing this behavior coming from anyone else. So it's you, right? Instead of she could have just said, yo, BET Awards, thank you for the nomination and congratulations to Angel Reese. Well deserved, right? That makes you look like a good sportsman. That shows and displays good sportsmanship. But no, instead she went this route.
Time and time again. Now, before we started our interview in Colorado, she said to me, "You're the name people say when it comes to women's boxing. You're the face they know. I want that to be me." Now, looking back after everything that's unfolded, it seems pretty calculated now. Like she was waiting for the right moment, the right excuse to finally do what she'd already made up her mind to do. I mean, that's how it feels now. She told me she saw me as the face of women's boxing, and she told me that she wanted my spot. And she's been on a mission to ruin my reputation ever since, simply because she heard me make a comment that was not about her and she took it personal. Fast forward to 2018, I was promoting my.
And I realized that too, when you have a public speaking platform, because my show is called She Could Talk. I just talk. Like, I don't write this stuff out. I'm not calculated with it. I'm not sitting here. The most I do is will batch a video and react to it when I get on camera. But I'm not sitting here with a script like, oh, I might have depending on what it is, if I did some research on something, I might have a couple of notes, if it's a news article, etc. I'll research stuff just like I looked up Amanda Serrano right now. But I'm a victim of that. And I'm guilty of that too, where you saying something, I'm not going to say guilty, but I've been a victim of that, I should say, where you say something not even thinking that it would offend someone because you didn't mean it to offend someone, right? And they just start a whole vendetta against you. Now their whole waking day and waking life is to, compete with you or to fight you. In this case, she wants to challenge her to a boxing match, right? It's just like, she wasn't even talking about her. And they just took it, she took it upon herself to make Laila Ali her enemy. And Laila Ali would have been a great mentor and a great stamp to have on your side.
A cookbook, Food for Life, and went on The Breakfast Club, a national show with millions of listeners. I did a 36-minute interview, and when the topic of boxing came up, I actually mentioned her and made positive comments. Then much later into the interview, I was asked about the possibility of a comeback. Fast forward to 2018, I was promoting my cookbook, Food for Life, and went on The Breakfast Club, a national show with millions of listeners. I did a 36-minute interview, and when the topic of boxing came up, I actually mentioned her and made positive comments. Then much later into the interview, I was asked about the possibility of a comeback.
Would you ever get back in the ring just for fun?
You still train?
I stay training.
Got you.
Yeah, I got a little baby six-pack right now.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I have a heavy bag hanging in my. I just turned 40.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Okay.
No, I know. I just turned 40. I can't believe it either. And because I think of my healthy lifestyle, the fact that I train all
And mind you, this is 2018. Okay?
the time, I can pretty much do anything I wanted to. Well, I don't think there's anyone there for me right now that would actually give me a good challenge.
How did you and your husband argue? Because he can't, usually they say, you can say something slick, but with you, you can't say that slickness.
You was on the Food Network's Chopped.
Yes.
And you won.
I did a couple times.
So what brings you more joy, winning in the ring or winning in the kitchen?
I just like to win, period. Definitely boxing is my first love, and, cooking is something that I'm super passionate about.
Gotcha.
It'll be
Like, she's just a personality all around, multiple skill sets, right? You gotta give the round of applause for Laila, because she's gracious, she's classy, she's a fighter, you know what I'm saying? But she leads with love at the same time.
part of my life forever. I'm not somebody who sits back and complains about things. I think everything happens in due time. You got Claressa Shields now, who's an Olympic champion. Mm-hmm. She's a young black girl, came out of Flint, Michigan, lived a hard life, went through a lot. She went to the Olympics, won twice. Women's boxing wasn't in the Olympics when I fought. She actually fights at the weight class I fought in. Mm-hmm. And she's doing great. Women's boxing is getting some good attention.
Now remember, at the time, we were on good terms. She was reaching out to me and referring to me as Big Sis. But this was her response.
I watched the Breakfast Club video with Laila Ali. I have so much respect for her, and I like her. I actually call her my Big Sis.
I think Claressa had a big chip on her shoulder and still does.
But it was so many shots thrown. Like, if y'all really paid attention, her saying, oh, there's not nobody good enough at 168, my weight class, that could give her a challenge when I'm the number one in my weight class. And, I'm just like...
But it's almost like you're not respecting your adults, your elders, Claressa. Now, I'm not saying that Laila Ali is an elder, because me and her, we're in the same age group, okay? We are yanties, okay? However, it's kind of like, why you don't want to fight no one that can give you that run for your money? You know what I'm saying? She's retired. Okay, it's giving Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson on Netflix. Entertaining, yes, but are you counting it as a real fight for Mike Tyson? No, or Jake Paul for that matter, right? A lot of people say, oh, Jake Paul has a lot of money, he could pay to fight whoever, but he's fighting people in retirement because of the name, right? So to me, that's like, I don't want to say it like that, but it's like wrestling, where you kind of know it's fake, but you're there for the entertainment, right? That's what these boxing matches look like. To me, that's the vibe I would get if you're trying to fight Laila Ali. She's not an active fighter right now. You know what I'm saying? She's retired. She's moved on to do other things, but she's also active and supportive of new up-and-coming women boxers. So Claressa, I feel like in order to keep her title, hold her title down, she should do what needs to be done, and that is fight people in her category, like in her, that's active. Not actively about to retire, not actively retired, but active boxers, and make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Give us a good show.
Nah. And, I just feel like, she gave props where it's due, but, she also spoke on how, what I'm doing for women's boxing is great, but it's not great enough for her. When it's like, we got two different goals and sets.
She never said that.
Me winning 2 Olympic gold medals is just the beginning. Even when she was boxing, she never fought on Showtime, HBO. I fought the main event.
It's different times. Like, I can honestly say when Laila was fighting, I don't even think we had the internet like that. It was like 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, where, we was just getting the internet type of thing. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it was dial-up at best, right? Pay-per-view was the thing. And pay-per-view was $100+ and some change to watch these good fights, right? And the fights were worth it. Every fighter on the card was worth it, right, for the pay-per-view. And I'm not saying that Clarissa's not putting on a show and Clarissa's not giving her, doing her all. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying it's different times. Like the technology, social media, the way we can watch fights these days, the access to it, and then even at the time, like boxing, HBO boxing, it was either HBO pay-per-view boxing for Mike Tyson fights back then, or you would get a couple of sparring boxers, but you didn't see a lot of women fighting on just regular HBO boxing at the time when Laila was fighting. It was like a big different type of event that was presented when it was those type of fights. So you were groundbreaking for that, yes. But it's kind of like comparing apples to oranges, right? Because that's like me saying, to my mom, oh, well, at least, I can go on Google and do my work. That's why, I got my degree faster. It's like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, when your mom was in school, there weren't tablets. There wasn't Google. So why would I can't even compare apples to oranges like that. You know what I'm saying? So opportunities and avenues that may be currently available for you or available for you in the last, couple of years, it's kind of a disadvantage to use that to compare to Laila's resume, if that makes any sense. But let's continue.
And on Showtime, I don't know how many times now, fastest woman to win a world title. I did it in 4 fights. And yeah, you can say, oh, the competition isn't there and this girl wasn't that. But like I did it up in 4 fights, and so the girls that Laila Ali fought wasn't, that great either. I mean, like, I'm the best female boxer that I've ever seen, and if Laila Ali wants to come back, we can rumble, we can go. This is not like, oh, I'm gonna step away. Like I respect her and everything, but you're not gonna come back and beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can happen.
She's retired.
I just don't like the disrespect. And
I don't get that part.
Too about this. I never used her name to try to be like, try to call her out of retirement. It's basically like she talking about she from my retirement. She just gonna beat me if she decided to.
Now, of course, I didn't respond to this, but I noted it. For someone who hardly had any experience as a professional boxer and who was supposedly looking up to me, for her to think that I would even call her name in a conversation about me fighting or making a comeback was silly to me. Especially since I had literally told her that I retired from boxing because I didn't feel inspired or challenged anymore by the level of competition that was available to me. We had that talk. So I learned a lot about her character and her mindset. She took what I said out of context and made it all about her. I decided I was no longer going to invest time or energy into her.
And I don't blame her.
She, on the other hand, she took it straight to social media, started comparing her boxing skills to mine, making negative comments about me, and pitting herself against me in a fight. A year later, I was doing press for my show Homemade Simple on OWN, so I went on Sway Universe, another syndicated national show with millions of listeners. We were talking, he asked me about boxing, he asked me about her, I said positive comments as usual, then he plays one of her visits.
Are you watching women's boxing today?
Oh, yeah.
You like Claressa?
I do. I think that she's a talented fighter. And
now, mind you, this is still after Claressa's talking, sugar, honey, iced tea. She's still being gracious.
she has the opportunity right now. The stage is set. So now she just has to kind of do her thing.
Talk about Homemade Simple, airing Saturdays, 9 a.m. on the OWN network. Okay, it's an incredible show. I had Claressa here, right? I asked her who does she think would win and against you in your prime and her now. And this is what she said.
She not cut like me. She don't take the challenges. Like, she didn't fight against Ann Wolf. I fight against the best and beat the best. And if Laila Ali was to come out of retirement, I beat her too.
That's not anything I haven't heard before. First of all, she's supposed to
Watch. You saw how nice and soft and gracious Laila was. And, she's cutting up, the interview for editing purposes because I'm the same way. YouTube, I love you. But you can definitely go look it up. Just look up Laila Ali Sway in the morning. You see the outfit she's wearing. You can hear the full interview. She was hot after she heard that sound bite from Claressa because Claressa was talking sugar, honey, ice, tea. Okay, now look at Laila's face after this.
feel like she's the greatest.
Absolutely.
But just because you think you are doesn't mean you are.
Okay.
I like to support and uplift people, and I think that
She was
on
hot.
your way up,
Look.
just do your best not to disparage those that have come before you. First of all, she could never beat me. Let me just get that straight.
You want to get that straight, Laila?
Let's get that straight right now.
Okay.
And not simply because she's not strong enough, okay, because I would definitely knock her out, but because she's not talented enough to beat me. It's a sweet science to boxing. The reason why you have not been able to knock out the opponents that you've already faced, I can totally see it. Why? But maybe if you would have been a little more respectful, and I'm not talking about thinking you can beat me and call that, do all that. I'm talking about just trying to, she didn't do this, she didn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't respect her as a boxer. I only respect her as a businesswoman. I've heard her say that before. I was always there for her because she's a young black girl from Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, Flint.
And I want to help uplift her because that's the Ali way.
Oh, well, I got to pause it right there. Give her a clap there. Because one thing that I can say about these receipts that are receipting like CVS tonight is she's been pretty consistent over these years. It is 2025, about to be 2026. This is footage from 2018, 2019, 2017, going back to when she was, going to the Olympics. And she's been pretty consistent with her narrative of how she feels about Claressa. She was bigging her up. She said she's a girl up and coming from Flint, Michigan. She deserves the spotlight. And technically speaking, you would want someone like Laila to move out the way so you can get that spotlight. Now you kind of brought her back into the spotlight and she didn't even want to be here. But okay, let's continue.
I am successful in so many areas outside of boxing.
Okay.
Boxing is not what defines me. There's always going to be another girl. But I tell you what, when I offered her to spar me, that definitely was a check right there to see. Let me see what kind of heart she has. You should come whoop me just for bragging rights.
Okay.
She didn't take me up on that offer. I said, okay. And let's put this in context. I'm only talking about this because you're asking me.
She's done a ton of interviews since then, and she's always saying I
Laila was hot.
disrespected her. Now you've seen what she's been referring to. So she felt justified to go on a tirade, and of course she's twisted the story over the years and taken my comments out of context. Now, according to her, I just started talking about knocking her out just out of jealousy. Now you've seen what I said, what she said, how this started, and you can see she pitted herself against me in a fight. Now I know some of this young
Let's go back at that picture. Let me go back and look back at that
out of
picture.
context. Now, according to her, I just started talking about knocking her out just out of jealousy. Now you've seen what I said, what she said, how this started, and you can see she pitted her.
I'm going to say it one more time. Who would have the chip on their shoulder? And I know boxing is not a pretty thing, so you don't have to be pretty to box. But branding, marketing, just being gracious. They'll put the makeup on you because when Claressa dresses up, I highlighted her. She's a pretty girl too. I'm not taking nothing from her. Maybe not as confident as Laila possibly, but she's a pretty girl. And with the right attitude, branding, marketing, sponsorship through the roof. Okay? They don't care. Gucci don't care. They'll make you look. They'll find someone from the middle of the desert in a foreign country and put them on the runway. So they don't care about that. There's other things that gets those sponsorships and that marketing going. But let's continue.
Herself against me in a fight. Now I know some of this younger generation may not be familiar with me, but I've never been one to just talk about things I can't do. When I said that I would knock her out back in 2019, it wasn't any different than what I've said to anyone who's challenged me in the past. You can go back and look at tape on me.
She was a
That was not
tough
just talk
cookie.
for me. It's what I did.
She is.
TKO,
Bang, bang.
KO, it didn't matter. I was going to
Bang,
stop you. It
bang.
wasn't going to a decision. And if you didn't belong in there with me, I was going to get you out of there.
The crazy thing
That's
is,
just
let me
facts.
pause it. I remember these joints like they were yesterday.
This younger generation may not be familiar with me, but
Like,
I've
I
never
watched
been
them
one to
in
just talk
real
about
time.
things I can't do. When I said that I would knock her out back in 2019, it wasn't any different than what I've said to anyone who's challenged me in the past. You can go back and look at tape on me. That was not just talk for me. It's what I did.
Okay?
TKO,
Bang.
KO, it didn't matter. I was going to stop
Bang,
you.
bang.
It wasn't going to a decision. And if you didn't belong in there with me, I was going to get you out of there. That's
Okay.
just facts. That's not disrespect. That's boxing talk. Back then in 2020, I did get to a point where I was ready to get back in the ring and show her why, even though she is talented. I said it back then and I'm saying it now, but she could never outbox me. High-level promoters did reach out to me directly, and we had some serious conversations about me making a comeback. Now, of course, she was never even involved in any of those discussions. Then COVID happened, you know how that was, and it all went away, and I left it alone. Now, here is just a small glimpse of the narrative that she's been building over the years.
But I feel like Laila Ali has always been kind of envious of me. I'm just so accomplished in women's boxing, and she never got that due diligence and that respect. So to see me getting it kind of pisses her off.
I'm trying to break my neck to the pause button. Let's go back. Look at dude's face. Look at dude's face.
So accomplished in women's boxing, and she never got that due diligence and that respect. So to see me getting it kind of pisses her off. So you look at who she fought. Her biggest test was freaking Vonda Ward and Christy Martin, and Christy Martin weighed in at 140 pounds, and Laila.
Let me tell you, Christy Martin, I believe that's the farmer's daughter, and I want to make sure I'm looking at that because she was a tough cookie. I don't know what happened to her. Let's see here. Oh, the coal miner's daughter. That's what she was. I said the farmer's daughter. The coal miner's daughter. Christy Martin was a tough cookie in her prime. Go look up some of them fights. Tough cookie in her prime. And that's what I'm saying. Like, she was on one coast killing the ring, you know what I'm saying, killing every opponent. And Laila Ali came out of nowhere and just annihilated that. And everybody was like, nah, Christy Martin is going to annihilate this girl, you know, it's just a name. They try to hit her with that, oh, it's just a name. You know, her dad's gonna be there. Yo, she fought like she ain't had no daddy on that one. But anyway, in this particular screenshot that we have on the screen right here, Claressa is saying that at the time when Christy Martin fought Laila was 162 and Christy Martin was 140. Here is the actual card. Laila Ali never fought Vonda Ward, so she was incorrect there. So you see the caption at the top. And these are boxing, like the records, the stats at the time of their fights, Wikipedia type stuff. So it says Laila Ali 162, Christy Martin 159. Same weight class, basically. So that's not a drastic weight difference. But that's what I'm saying. You're fighting people that are drastically, I don't know, it'd be looking like kind of off. I don't know.
Lee was 160. Like, how are you making matches like that? So Laila Ali is a hater. That's it. Nothing but her being a hater and her being, you know, envious of my success and what I've done for women's boxing. And she feels like she deserves that credit because everybody kind of give it.
Go back and look at my Claressa Shields reactions that I've done just this year alone. And I want you to, and I'm going to reiterate it. I like her. I like her. You know what I'm saying? Because she has such a underdog story, right? You know, started from the bottom, made it. You know what I'm saying? That's why, to me, I felt like it was disheartening when she popped up on my radar for being in Remy Ma and Papoose' divorce mess, right? And then you seen her arguing with different people on live on YouTube, and you're like, girl, go chill out. You know how much money you got? Like, YouTube will be the last thing, okay, that I would be doing live or whatever. Like, and I don't get me wrong, I probably would still be doing YouTube in my capacity, but I'm not gonna be on YouTube. I'm not on YouTube live now arguing with people, so I would not be doing it then. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. But all her interviews has been about Laila Ali since 2017, 2018. We're in 2025.
To me now, like, and I think that she's like, but you know, I'm an Ali daughter, and I boxed before her, and I'm 24-0 with 21 knockouts, and she kind of, you know, want people to keep acknowledging her. She's retired.
She's retired.
And
She's
been
probably
retired for a long time.
43.
I hate when somebody else try to take somebody else's shine, somebody else's attention. You know, it's like,
Damn.
she's...
Even Joe Rogan's like, damn, because what are you doing? This is the thing. I mentioned this because remember earlier this year, it was all about Remy Ma. Every interview she went to, she was talking about, you know, Remy Ma and how her and Papoose is in love and Papoose is her man and they're going to have kids and all this other stuff, right? And I said, chill. Who is the publicist? Who is the manager? Who is the person that, that handles this stuff? Because we need to have, you vet what you're going to say and kind of filter what you're going to say, because this stuff, as we can see now, too late, it can come back and bite you. So you got to be selective and pick your words carefully. I remember years ago, someone said to me, and this was like an older, wiser person, said, before you speak, it's okay to pause and to think about what you have to say. Because guess what? The person that you're speaking to, or whoever is going to receive the message, will appreciate it more because you took time to think about what you had to say. And that shows intentions and effort. I was probably around Clarissa's age when someone told me that. And I was like, okay, whatever. Because like, I'm grown these days. And you see my podcast is called She Could Talk. So I can talk. But I know how to choose my words, if that makes any sense. And that comes with time, it comes with age. So I feel like, we should appreciate our elders, because sometimes, a lot of times, they're older, wiser, and been through it. So they can tell you, and they're speaking from experience and kind of helping you get a shortcut around things. Right? Now, I didn't even know all this was going on this far, because I'm in and out with Claressa Shields in the boxing. I have to be honest. I be in and out. If something pop up and I'm like, okay, new fight, let's go. Let's watch it, because I like boxing. I don't care who it is. You could be big, name brand, no name brand. You could be in Mexico. You could be in Yugoslavia. I don't care. If it's a good fight, a good matchup, if the stats look good, I'm watching it. That's just one of my favorite sports. So I didn't know she felt like this. So recently, and I actually think I said it in one of my last reactions about her too, I said, I don't think you should, I don't think Laila Ali should come out of retirement for any of this nonsense, because it's giving Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Nobody was trying to take her attention when it was her time. Undisputed champion. She's never been undisputed. And people are comparing me to her, and she gets offended.
You are doing it.
To me, I thought it was a good comparison, because I feel like I box way.
No one has compared her, though. Everyone is kind of like, sensationalism, journalism. They're like, hey, did you see what Claressa said about you? How do you feel about that? And then she has to be poised, and she has to be gracious, and she has to give grace when in some instances they do. I'm talking about Laila Ali. And she has to take the high road always, right? Apparently she says she's done with that.
Better than her. And for them to be saying that me and her are equal or whatever, she should have been happy because of that, because they're giving her more props on her skills, which I feel like she didn't really have that much. But,
Are you hearing
whatever.
this?
Yeah, we had Laila Ali. Respect. But she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing.
I'm going to be different, because I'm going to give my blessing, or I'm going to let a girl take her blessing. And what that means, I'm going to fight the girls coming up, and if they beat me, now they're the best. That's how you do it. My advice to Laila is you will look a lot better, and people will stop calling you a hater and calling you jealous and old and bitter.
Who is doing that? I don't see the hate. I have not seen the hate train roll through for Laila Ali ever.
You actually stop hating, bro. You will look better if you was to support
And I'm noticing the pattern here. Remy Ma, 45, 44, 45, 46 years old. Laila Ali, same age range. Why are you targeting my generation? Why? Sometimes, I can't lie, I used to feel like when I was younger, I wish I was born, like I wish I was an adult in the 70s, because, they had like the fly gears and the afros and the platforms and the bell bottoms. So, it was a point in time when I was like, man, I wish I was born in the 70s, because they looked like they had fun. So I get it, because we did have fun in the 90s. We did. So I get it that, maybe a couple of generations might be like, oh man, they look like they was popping. And in some instances, a lot of us still look young.
black girl from Flint who made it out the trenches to where she at now. You will look a lot better. she wants to try to make it still seem like she's somewhat relevant in women's boxing. When people give her props about how she built up women's boxing, and I just don't feel the same way. What really did you do for women's boxing? Like, you let it die. You let it die for 20 years, and then I had to come and put in all this extra work to get it to where it is now. I think that wasn't fair, and I don't think that she was as big as a pioneer in women's boxing as she thinks she was. Because I would never do that. I would pass the torch.
You hear the host? Every host be like,
There are hundreds and hundreds of women who have participated in the sport of boxing over the years.
Look at this
they
list.
Have all made a contribution in their own way. We don't need to argue over who's done more. That destructive crab in a barrel mentality is exactly what we don't need in the sport.
Any sport.
Here she is on a recent podcast explaining how
Any
she's passing
sport.
the torch and that
any sport. Anything you do. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the grocery store, you get a pack of chicken. It's a couple of packages there of chicken, right? Anyone who wants chicken could get it.
She has created a blueprint for success, which she is now sharing with other female fighters. She says that the number one thing they need to know is how to build their brand.
I actually promote a woman fighter, and I'm giving her all the jewels and stuff that
Listen
I
to
know,
this madness.
so she can get her big paydays too. It's a blueprint now on how you make $1 million, even if you don't have the gold medals. The biggest blueprint is build your brand.
Oh, she must have forgot years ago she recorded this and said that I gave her the piece of advice that she's now referring to as the most valuable piece of information that you need to be successful. But supposedly I didn't support her and I didn't want to pass the torch.
Laila Ali told me to build my brand, a good brand, and a brand that I want to represent and stand for. And she said, have good people behind me who I trust.
So this whole idea that she started about me being jealous because of her accolades and her surpassing me, do you realize that for years, fans have believed that there's so many fighters that are better than me? I mean, they have more titles than me. Multi-million-dollar fights are happening, more money than I ever made, more money than she's making. So I guess if I'm supposedly jealous of her, I must be hating on them too, right?
But
no,
look at her.
I actually celebrate other women's success. I have relationships with those women.
Okay.
We have mutual respect. It's all love. She's the only one who decided to make herself my opposition. And she has created this drama and she's kept it going for the past 8 years. People came to know her because she kept calling out my name.
Do you see all of these successful women that are in the field of boxing? And you clearly see that Laila Ali is going out and supporting them, traveling to their fights and, you know, at events with these women. But some of these women are publicly going onto social media and saying, hey, look, I respect you, Claressa, as a fighter, but that's about it. I don't want to cross paths with you outside of the ring, and let's go our separate ways. Let's agree to disagree. That's telling.
Obsessed with me, and she literally cannot keep the name Laila Ali out her mouth. There are people who will say, she's confident, she talks trash. That's what fighters do. Yes, fighters talk. Nobody did it better than my father and me, and we backed it up. I've never had a problem with a fighter saying they could beat me or that they think they're better than me. That's expected. I don't consider that disrespect. But what I do have a problem with is a liar or someone who intentionally tries to disparage me in order to gain visibility and respect. As I mentioned in my interview on Sway, about 8 years ago, I offered her sparring during one of our phone conversations. I was like 40, 41. It was just to give her some work. Well, she changed that subject and never took me up on the sparring. So when I mentioned it on Sway, there was a lot of comments from the public because people were surprised that she wouldn't have taken that opportunity. Now, can you imagine if she and I were to get in the ring and spar back then? You know, there would have been camera phones, it would have been recorded. She would have proof of what she could do and vice versa. So I guess after the feedback and comments that she saw, she felt the need to take it to social media and put out an excuse.
On Sway, that if I was so
Are these receipts receipting? Yo, this is great, great work. I got it. Great work, Laila.
that I would spar her for brownie points. I am a 2-time Olympic champ. Only thing that matters to me is what happened outside of practice. She talking about practice. Take it to Ellen Iverson. Talking about practice. I don't care about sparring nobody. I I'll get in there and spar and work with anybody. All I care about is fighting. But like I said, she don't really care about women's boxing.
So that was her response. Why sparring? It doesn't mean anything. But many years later, she comes up with a whole new story.
And the thing is, she keeps saying, one time she asked me to spar. Let me tell you this. Jason Crutchfield was my eyes and my ears back then, because I was naive. I don't pay attention to stuff. Jason had our...
Yo, I'm a psychic friend. I'm convinced. Okay, when I tell you my spidey senses be tingling, I don't play around with that. I know it comes off, I try to I don't know. But everyone that's been on my spidey senses radar this year, I have been correct. I said I was not following her, like her every movement and everything like this, right? She came across my radar with the fight. Really, it was Remy Ma and Papoose that caused it. And then in the vein of that, she had a fight in like March or something like that. And so we watched the fight or whatever like that. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. She won. And then I said, okay, just being joking. I said, Remy Ma, don't leave her alone. You know what I'm saying? This is the girl about her business, because up until that point, I just thought that she was focused and, doing her job, Claressa. But then as it started to play out in months after that with the Remy Ma and Papoose thing, and I started seeing her talk more, seeing these interviews, I was like, oh my God, girl, you got to rein it in. Who is the people around her? Who's the camp around her? You got to rein it in. I get it. Just like Laila Ali said, boxing is just like hip hop. It's just like rapping. You got to talk shit. It's part of the job. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But then it's also it's part of your branding too, how you do it, right? And I said it a couple of months ago. I said, yo, you're letting all of this stuff consume you, and we're not seeing Claressa anymore. Instead, we're just seeing temper tantrums. We're seeing emotions play out that we don't need to see, because it's painting a different picture, painting you in a different light. I said it months ago. And Laila Ali put together the entire CVS receipt.
He told me back then she feels some type of way. Coming in, gold medals and doing your thing, he was like, she feels some type of way. But she's still embracing you though. And I said, okay, whatever. But I had mad love for her though. So it was like, the closest thing to Muhammad Ali is Laila Ali. So I love this girl. You know what I'm saying?
Obsessed.
And looked into her, took her advice and everything. He said, when we're going down here, because she had appointed me to give Muhammad Ali the Liberty Medal in Philadelphia. Now that when she asked me to spar, I said, you want to spar me? And that's when it was more of like dang, I hate that coach was right about you. I'm like, okay, well, we can spar when you want to spar. I got my stuff in the car. She like, no, it ain't like that. I'm more about, let's not talk about it, let's be about it.
Now, you know that was a flat out lie. We know that if that were true, she would have said it years ago when it first was mentioned that she wouldn't spar me. There is absolutely no way she would have passed up the chance to tell everyone that she called my bluff and I backed down. Now, can you imagine if she and I were to get in the ring and spar back then? You know, there would have been camera phones, it would have been recorded. She would have proof of what she could do, and vice versa. I did an interview with Andre for his podcast too, before I had a chance to see her episode. And if you go watch her interview, everything's I think this, somebody told me that, no facts. I need you to understand how deep this goes with this girl.
2020.
I know she's on a constant search for validation. She needs to feel important, and it's obvious she's fixated on me. But watch how she sits on The Breakfast Club, the same show she saw me on back in 2018 when I said I wasn't making a comeback. She goes on in 2020 after dragging my name for years and acts like she has no idea why I no longer support her or want anything to do with her. Now, she knows The Breakfast Club is a national show with millions of listeners, so she's careful.
And that's gaslighting behavior. You've seen all the video of her talking crap, and you've seen all the videos of Laila having to keep her composure, right? Except for that sway in the morning. She looked like she was about to break on that one. She was about to snap. But for the most part, she's kept her composure. And it's been year after year after year.
Careful not to say anything negative about me, because that wouldn't fit the story she's trying to sell. Instead, she plays it safe so she can position herself as the victim.
Do I want to fight a 41 or 40-year-old Laila Ali? No.
I want to actually her embrace me, I embrace her, and we build women's boxing to the place where it's supposed to be at. But I don't think she sees that vision. Like she doesn't show me any kind of support. Like I see her all the time comment on this other boxer girl page, Katie Taylor, and always telling her congrats and everything. But then with me, it's like she don't show any kind of respect or acknowledgement, and I'm a black girl just like she is.
All right, so remember what I said? I've been a victim of that too. You see someone who's a star, right? You see their light and the shining. They may not be as polished, they may not be as, but you can see the potential. And you're like, yo, I want to do something for them because they deserve it. They're working hard and they got something to them. Did you not hear me just emphasize, but not only me, this is Laila Ali's receipts. Did you not hear Laila Ali say she talked to her producers of the show she was on and said, hey, I want to do a piece on this girl. She's doing great. She's bringing, she's making waves in women's boxing, and I want to be the one to highlight her. And they said, let's do it. They greenlit the segment of the show, flew her to Colorado. She sat down with an interview with her. She was probably one of the only ones that she was supporting at the time for several years. Through the backlash, she still was supporting her until she couldn't do it anymore. And then, I don't blame her because I've done that too, where it's like, oh, okay, you clearly don't need me, and clearly you're looking at me as I'm an opposition, or I'm a competition, or you're better than me, or I'm less than, and it's my fault because I allowed you to think that because I helped you get there. I helped you, I showed you that I believed in you, and I showed you that I recognize your talent, right? And that's all that happened there. Laila Ali is a victim of that. You know what I'm saying? Of going out her way to be, to make a way, going out her way to clear a path for her to shine. And when she's like, okay, the same way I gave you that, I used my power for good to let you shine, I could use my power for good elsewhere. And I don't even see you no more. It's no shine your way is dark, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying that Claressa is not doing good and she does not have a great career. She does. But imagine if she had the Ali legacy stamp on it, right? You saw how Laila Ali invited her out to Muhammad Ali's, what was it? Liberty chain, Liberty belt, ceremony, to stand on stage with them. To me, I feel like you had the green light. You had the VIP ride.
Who came apart, and I have been making my way forever. Like I made my own way. I wasn't handed anything. Just about supporting each other, you know what I'm saying? But
I wonder why she wouldn't though. Like, did you say something about her back in the day?
He a gaslighter.
I just think that in boxing, she feel like she never got her fair share. I feel like she never got to the point where she wanted to get to, and people recognize Laila Ali, but they always try to say like, oh, she only was big because of her dad, and they don't really give her props on her skills. I'm not one of those people. And then some people say that she didn't fight Ann Wolf, but me being a woman fighter, now I realize that it's hard to make big fights with other big women. It really is. So think about it. Back then, when it wasn't a lot of money, wasn't TV exposure, I kind of can see why her and Ann Wolf didn't fight. But people's story is that she was scared of Ann Wolf, and Ann Wolf would have knocked her out. And that's their story.
3 months later, she takes her mask off and she's back to her usual story.
Receipts.
Ann Wolf, you were a better fighter than her. And I believe that that's where this whole beef started from. That, I spoke on that. She hate whenever your name gets mentioned. She still to this day mentions your name. Say how you were scared of her, how you didn't want to fight her. And I don't believe that for 1 second. And she may have a bigger name, but that's because women's boxing wasn't supported how we are now. If Laila Ali came up in this generation, she would not be known. Nobody would know.
I don't know about that.
I know for a fact.
She fights really good.
To sleep. So just because you couldn't do it, you didn't have the opportunity because, she didn't want to sign a paper to fight you. I'm letting you know now. I'm going to kick her ass for the both of us.
You hear that?
We all know Laila Duck and Wolf. We know that. We don't got to. She know that. Everybody know that. It's literally written, I think, somewhere.
Now, I've seen this before with Ann Wolf, another fighter who used the same playbook. Both of these women have a lot in common in terms of the way they've been able to get visibility for themselves by using my name and making up lies. Since I'm in the season of pulling skirts, I'm gonna go ahead and pull hers too. And I'm gonna
All
do
right,
another.
so we're gonna go ahead and pause it right here. So this is apparently Ann Wolf's Facebook post, and she said, love and compassion is a universal language. This baby is younger than my children. She went through some of the same things I went through in life. After no one would fight me, I retired and opened a gym to help young people like her and me. She is what I wanted for all my kids and boxers in my gym in all the hoods. She is not in jail. She is not in the streets. She is not on drugs. She don't have babies all over the place. She made it. As far as I'm concerned, it's her time to shine. People say too much shit. People say she talks too much shit. Boxing is entertainment. Part of entertainment is to talk shit. I'm 54 years old. My life has come full circle. I'm passing the torch on. FYI. If Ali comes out of retirement, it should have been for me. I still have some hamburgers left. Before you speak, do your homework. Go to BoxRec and match it up. I was of 26 years old before I touched a glove for amateur fights. 6 months later, I was fighting a world champion in my third fight 2 years later. Hi, LJ. How are your world titles in 4 different weight classes? I was moving so fast, I skipped a weight class. I started out boxing at 150 pounds. I didn't learn how to box until after, I guess, you retired. If you don't know, then you don't know. Or is it, if you know, then you know? There we go. So this is Ann Wolf, the woman, the scary looking woman that we just saw the pictures of. And the whole time, Claressa was saying, like, Ann Wolf, is a better fighter, a better boxer, but they just never got aligned to match up and fight. And clearly you can see that and Wolf also said that it was an issue when no one wanted to fight her. I think what it is, they were trying to keep their champion in their parts of the world. Because I remember Christy Martin, the coal miner's daughter, right? I remember Ann Wolf. We all know Laila Ali, and there's a plethora. You saw the list of boxers out there, right? Because they weren't just fighting themselves, right? But I guess the women boxing, just like with women basketball in those times, it was different than it is now. It was like something that was opening up, but it was still like women boxing. Like, why do we want to do that, right? So it was still something that was having to become acclimated. We had to get used to it, right? Different times.
Video on her next. That lie that I would not fight her has been told so many times as if it's a true fact.
But she got receipts on her neck,
so I'll
she
be
said.
gathering my receipts on her too, since she wants to start talking again. This one is so detached and delusional that she actually praises my father while trying to trash his daughter.
Yeah, we had Laila Ali, but she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing. I kind of feel like God wants me to be like the next Muhammad Ali. I kind of feel like God wants me to be like the next Muhammad Ali. I think it's Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, me. That's it. Learn from Muhammad Ali. If you don't validate yourself first, nobody else ever will. She wants to be like in the public and keep her name tied to mine because I'm young and popping. Right now, it's my time. And she wants to keep her name connected to mine. Listen, Muhammad Ali would never. Her daddy would never. Maybe she don't have that in her genes.
Now, what father would embrace someone like her or want to be associated with someone like her while she's trying to tear down his very own child? My father was the greatest of all time because not only
I remember
did he
this
have a
commercial
beautiful,
too.
one-of-a-kind style in the ring, he was also a remarkable individual outside of it. He used his platform to uplift and inspire people. He carried himself with integrity, kindness, and grace. He was someone our community could be proud of, and he represented us well.
He did.
You know what my father would say? She's a generic wannabe. My father would not want to share his name or image with her. She does not represent anything about him in the ring or outside of the ring.
Look,
now, many of us, including myself, had high hopes for her. I supported her.
That's Amanda Serrano right there.
In the right direction, but she has become a disappointment. She is a horrible representation of both the sport and our culture.
Beneficial. Fuck them if they win against you. You don't need them bitches with you. Her man ain't got no balls.
I was confused with the rapping, child.
Not them fake hoes, do it for the real women. I ain't fuck these niggas 2 years still bitching. Girls who think they just so pretty and just because they born light skin that they just all that. That they can come up with shit talking shit. I look better than you. I look better than you, so you can get off my shit. Light skin, red bone. Yeah, get your funny looking ass up out of here. I don't play with these hoes.
You have a clear picture of what our relationship was and what exactly happened in the past that led to today. Now, do you believe I'm jealous of her accomplishments? So in part 2, I'm going to discuss that $15 million offer and finally answer the question everyone wants to know. Will I be coming back to boxing to get that knockout? If you want to know when part 2 drops, turn on your notifications.
I'm on there, honey. I'm on there. You don't ever got to worry about it. Okay. And I will be back to react to that when she drops that, because this was spicy, random, waking up to this on a Friday morning. So I was like breaking my ankles to get this reaction to y'all, because I was like, what? I was like, I thought it was some Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing, like trying to pull out of retirement their names to have a sparring, fake fight. Because I don't think those fights are real, like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. It pulls the money in, you get a name, everyone gets a bag, but it's not real. It's not like a real fight. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. So I thought that's what she was trying to do. And I was like, that's not good for her, because if you're trying to be taken seriously as a fighter, you don't want to do a fake fight with someone that's retired. Fight an active boxer who's in your weight class, who's giving people a run for the money, and let's make a pay-per-view out of that. You know what I'm saying? We want to see you in action, whipping some ass for real. Now, on this instance, though, I just want to circle back and say, after a while of being, poking the bear shall wake up. And it looks like Laila Ali has woken up, pulled out her CVS receipts, and went to town on Claressa, part 1. Because if you go look at it, it says part 1. So we're waiting for the part 2, and I guess she's going to answer the question if she's going to do a fight. And at this point, I'm so dialed in that it's like, I don't want her to fight her, but this is a hell of a great promo if she is going to fight her. She went wrestling style. Like, she pulled out all the receipts, all the talking. This is like almost rap battle. Pulled out all the receipts, all the talking to prime you up to be like, yo, if I do fight, this is why I'm fighting her. It's not even about the money or anything else. It's about this. So I would say 50-50. If she's going to fight her, this is a hell of a promo. Cliffhanger. If it's really just to say, hey, style and grace, and I'm gonna box you up a different way. She did a great job with that too. She did a great job with episode 1, part 1. So I'm gonna leave it right here. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do you think that Laila was wrong for doing this, or was she right because she feels like she's been provoked for almost close to a decade? From a girl edging her on to fight who's significantly younger than her and who's taking away her accolades and taking away her credit, but also fighting to be recognized for her accolades and credit, right? So how do you feel about Claressa Shields? Do you think that Claressa Shields laid it on too thick, that she should have just kind of kept the mentor route and maybe kind of had that conversation behind closed doors for clarity? Like, hey, Laila, I saw that interview with the Breakfast Club. I don't think I understood everything. I just want to make sure before I jump off the deep end. Was it disrespect? Like, because I look up to you. Like, I thought we were cool. And give her the opportunity to give you some clarity behind closed doors and have a grown-up conversation. Instead, she jumped on social media, kept on fueling the flames, and even in those years, Laila Ali has not responded. She responded, of course, if she's doing an interview, people would, bring it up. But she was gracious the whole time, the whole freaking time. So the October 25th interview where I'm thinking that was the straw that broke the camel's back with $1 million worth of game with Wallow and Gilly the Kid. And she said, oh, beautiful, knock her beautiful, pretty self out or whatever. It's like, you're mad at who her dad is. Like, you wish that was your dad. It's like, you're mad at how she looks. It's a lot. It's a laundry list. It's a CVS receipt worth of items there that, I don't know. Laila did a great job on highlighting it. And I mean, if I was her, I would kind of feel the same way. Like, yo, you were calculating and you kind of had this feeling the whole time and this is what you wanted. But it ain't over till the fat lady sings, right? Right. So I'm going to leave that right there. And y'all tell me what y'all think. You know how I say. Join me in the comments. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. All right? And I'm going to go ahead and hit you with the motto and hit you with the brand right now. If you like anything I do, tell a friend. If you don't like anything I do, tell a friend. And from my lips to your ears, you know I love you, right? But I need you to love me and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications, all right? Hit the like button. Share it with a friend. Join me in the comments. And tell a friend, tell a friend, and tell a friend. And until next time, it's your girl Gonka Lee and the She Could Talk to podcast, and I'm out. Peace. They talk about it. They talk about it.